In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. I have found myself in a moment in both the world and my existence where I noticed something today that I was like, I should talk about it probably. Something I noticed more deeply than before. And so I want to actually talk about art, but actually the main focus is beauty. And like some rogue on the fringe of normality, explorer, I want to explain to you how I have noticed that the human species is losing sight of the beautiful. I think this is like, you could think of it this way, it's like I'm noticing something, an invisible event happening, which means a mass psychological event. And I just noticed it in myself, and I was like, whoa, 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 what is happening? And I noticed that some days had gone by, and I was not fascinated by the moment. That it was as if the moment I had forgotten that moments have a beauty, that there is something deeper. That's what beauty is. It's the discovery of that depth. It's the discovery is that there's more to someone than meets the eye. That beauty is in some sense a way things are expressed or accessed. And what do I mean by this? I don't mean like, yo man, you're like objectively beautifying everything. No. This reality has its savageness. This world wasn't like a fun playground. This world was like our ancestors got out of the food chain, and now we're like, what do we do? My attention went to the archetype of an artist, and I have struggled to figure out if I am truly like an artist. Like, I don't mean it externally or even subject. I mean it in the sense of like, I have been on this search to discover what kind of soul am I. Do you know, as if someone not convinced by anything they have seen so far, the mystery still stands. The hidden question mark of who is it? Is it even a who? Or is it a force that's looking through my eyes? What is actually here? Questions never asked until too late, unfortunately. And it's interesting because I do feel like I'm not part of an army. I do feel like some solo, you know, like if there was a kingdom, like imagine there's a kingdom, like a kingdom's invading another kingdom. And I'm like that person who's noticed the invasion before anyone else has. And it's as if they're like, why is this guy picking up his sword and running straight to this empty field? It's because he's seen something, right? And really, I want to talk about beauty, but I'm not going to fit the cultural norm of it, I think, because my understanding of beauty is very infused with the notion of fascination. I find what fascinates me has a beauty from another realm. So, and another realm means from neural pathways I haven't yet made until I instantly see. To me, it just like, let me tell you how I go about it and how I even think about it. Most people are too interested in themselves to think like this, by the way. But it's a matter of like, if you look at from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep, What percentage of your day are you thinking about more than yourself? That means beyond you. Value systems, values beyond you. That means it's like, yo, how do you theorize values beyond your own value system? And you cannot ignore that you are a sheep. And people are going to be like, Mr. Within's calling us sheep. It's like, no, relax. I mean, we are all sheep. Even the wolves are sheep. They just don't notice the shepherd, who the shepherd is. They think they have power. We are all sheep. Not even in a religious depth way, just in the sense that we are participants in an event. And I just looked at our world and I was like, all right, I don't know who I am, but I'm a soul in this world. I am standing now looking at this. And in my inner realms, I saw a probability of civilization where it's as if people had love, but they lost it for a little bit and then they forgot it. And that's the tragedy. You want to talk about inner tragedies and outer tragedies. Outer tragedies: water levels rise, mass population, enforcement, and civil unrest. But imagine like an internal tragedy is when humans, the sign of love being under attack is that beauty gets attacked first. And to be beautiful is not, this is the hilarious thing, is not something that you can just like a photograph shape, because reality is happening in a verb. Like if they're like, yo man, point out a beautiful person, like I'll point out, that girl across the street or something, you know what I mean? But if they tell me point out a beautiful moment, I will say they mention a fire. If they tell me point out another what do you call it, another beautiful moment, a species that became alert of its own epistemic entropy possibility. Beautiful moments are moments that their beauty shifts from aesthetics into function. That means to me like seeing an engine or a machine function properly. I'm like, that's like, I don't know, the peak of my cultural minds class. It's like, to me, the classiest person on the planet was like in the show, like in the film Iron Man. Like Tony Stark was just living in the classiest way. Rest of us are living like, peasants, I think. And they're like, they don't have that technology. And I'll be like, we're still peasants. Doesn't matter if you're a billionaire who's not living with that level of technological freedom. It's like you're a peasant. And why do I say peasant like this? Because class distinction is very key, because class distinction is the separation of reality. The reason people are like, yo man, why can't we all be the same? It's because it's been leveled differently. Intentionally, we're not living in a world of clones. So civilization is always a balance, a bunch of people freaking out, and some of them want to look like each other and some of them don't. And it clashes. But really what's going on, the great wake-up call that the species needs, is like one day a sound was made on Earth that every person on the planet heard this sound. Every person who was sleeping woke up. Every person went outside and looked at the sky, imagine. And imagine it was the sound of my podcast. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, that's so silly. I'm going to bring that in. But what I'm saying is, imagine in one instant, everybody realized that we have to sacrifice how we are living now if we want to live differently in a more advanced way. And whether we like it or not, times change. It's like a machine. they're like, yo man, history repeats itself, let's learn from its mistakes. I'm like, dude, it's like you want to learn mistakes from a loop. You wanna like fucking, like, how much can you learn from the vibration of manifestation, you know? It's like, dude, I'm learning tons from how manifestation's vibrating. It's like in that moment you're like, okay, bro, relax. The human form is in what is important about us. I thought it was outside of us. And then I thought it was inside of us. I called myself Mr.Within. And then I realized it is beyond us. And so to be a member of the human species is to be a member of an organism class that has a mind that is responsible for having contact with higher archetypes beyond the human form. You right now are living in a world where there is insanity and meaningless chaos, but there is also meaningful transcendence. And what that means is that there's 8 billion people living on, like, physically on Earth, but there is technically 8 billion types of Earths. They're not all living in the same inner world or overlaid on the outer realm. Everybody's different. It's like we've been equipped with different tools and equipment, and like a bunch, like 8 billion crew. All right, guys, you know, you gotta go to planet Earth, and they're gonna see if you can figure out your way out of this. And the task of the species right now, I'm like, yo, let's get everybody to unite under wanting to build an advanced civilization. In that unity, use that unity to, in some sense, discover the most advanced power. You see, there are people on this planet, and they're like, yo, man, what kind of power do you want to have? And the guy's like, I want to be a billionaire, bitch. Like, sorry, I've just heard that being said, you know. And it's as if, like, yo, this guy thinks being a billionaire or having politicians in your pockets is like, yo, that's power. And then there's some people who are like, no, 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 no. We are powerless if we all die. So what is the real power? It's like, what's the point? The same question, what is the power of reality, is the same question, what is the point of reality? In the future, imagine people forget what is beautiful. And then it's like, you know, that scene in Game of Thrones where, I forget the dude's name, but like, what was his name? Jesus Christ, what was this? Theon was like killing like Bran's, like, you know, this knight who had to protect him or something, Sir Roderick or something like that. And then before Theon gives the command, he's doing the wrong thing. The guy just looks at him and says, now, Theon, you are truly lost. And then he gets executed in the show. And that bit of dialogue where that guy looked at that character and was like, now you are lost. That's what our species has to make sure, something equivalent, that it does not execute its own beauty, its awareness to beauty. It does not deny itself an ability to realize this world is not just some bunch of depressed people with negative values painting it negatively, that it is a massive space of possibility. Do you know, if somebody says, is there something above beauty? I would say brilliant would come close. Something brilliant is like also beautiful. It's just getting close to genius. It's like genius, brilliant, beautiful. Genius at the top. And there's been moments on this planet where I've seen something or noticed something or somebody said something and I'm like, that's genius. Like the amount of realities that one moment of attention unlocked for me, you know. And most people talk about concepts, they don't talk about context. But context, the context of reality is where the game is at. That means it's like, to someone, someone can be beautiful, someone else cannot be. To someone, like, they can be beautiful to themselves and someone not be. It's like, what's the metric for actually noticing beauty? And it's gonna be weird if there's no such thing as the beautiful. That means the idea of the beautiful becomes obsolete. That's so tragic. It's like it just became a bitter, grumpy species, just tired of its robotic, unnatural ways, and then they're like, all right, man, let's close down the simulation. Right now, as I'm not someone here like, yo, man, I'm like seeing everything as beautiful all the time. No, but in this world, I know that for a soul which is the simultaneous awareness of body and mind to a moment, beauty is like how we saw it. I don't know how to say it. That means there's things to me that are beautiful about chaos, but I've never said it. It's just like, no, not for this reality. An awareness not for this realm. But at the same time, it's the ultimate beauty I have found in this world. If they're like, yo, man, what's the most beautiful thing you've noticed here? I would say that there is higher management here. We're not alone, we're in a process with a higher intelligence. And the species is reaching at that point that it cannot act. It's not acting its age. Like, we've reached the level of like multidimensional mindhood. I think many people are like, that's the point of life becoming tough and there being endless responsibilities. Why? It's all leading to the multi-perfect tasking of the entity. Our whole technological evolution is inspired by us not being able to do things perfectly. Our imperfections are like fueling perfect technologies, for us at least. I want to go back to the idea of the artist. I think it is fair to say that an artist is someone who still sees the beautiful. I think maybe like, this might not be the right number, but I don't know why I feel like maybe 63% of the population they might be on the verge of seeing beauty to the world or not. That means it's like a person can get lost externally and a person can get lost internally. And internally, if they don't have willpower, the will to actually figure out what's going on with them as a being, the will of the outer realms comes and shapes you. It's like either you listen to yourself first or you listen to others, because either way, the suggestions, life gives you choices. For me, it is, I don't know, it's like how do I say it? I ask some people, like when they wake up from the beginning of the day, what values are like guiding them? Like when you wake up in the morning, what value system, what is pulling you or even empowering you to animate as a being? And the honest answer is survival, of course. The age-old answer. We're all doing what we're doing because we're surviving. What is survival? Just getting to still be able to see this world while, like, be here while, do you know what I mean? Still be part of the event. It's like a bunch of unknown beings who fear death, and they're like, okay, what do I do? I'm like in a world. I'm gonna like at least watch the event. You know, like maybe if I become too inspired, I'll participate in it. And effort is very crucial. Like, and the question of what values are you living your day. This is very important because just hear me out here. I'm saying to everyone here, guys, when you wake up throughout the day, I guess especially for men, right? What do you consider beautiful? Because I think it was the awareness to beauty that brought us out of savageness. I think it's important to find something beautiful in the moment, wherever you are, right? Some people, they're blessed like by being born the way they are. They're like, yo, I'm beautiful. Like they extract value from their own presence that way. Some people might just be like, yo, man, I don't know. For me, there's moments I've seen that are just beautiful. You know? Like, I'll tell you something hilarious. I saw someone, like this, girl around my age, just like, walking across the street. We were going different directions. And it was like some random moment where my mind saw her and then leaped into like a vision, you know? And now that's just an example, but I'm saying you could find that beauty. Beauty can be just following the calling, you know? But anyways, what I'm trying to say by that is that the mind has an ability to see the beautiful, and the beautiful is a higher value. Even if there's someone beautiful, there's someone more beautiful, higher value. There's beauty in different dimensions of reality. There's like somebody can, demonstrate swordsmanship skills with like a katana, and we'll be like, okay, that was like next level, you know. So what I'm saying is beauty is like something having sudden eye value, I think, but also its value is based on how rare it is. Like, as someone who, or in my youth, I didn't like myself, so I didn't have that many good ideas about myself, but there were moments where I was like, hey, look at like the sunlight like hitting the leaves of that tree in a certain way. Like that's like art on its own, you know. I'm saying it's something that it's like a discovery. To find the beautiful throughout the day, it's like you discover it internally. It's the context, you know. It's like needing help, and out of nowhere suddenly someone arrives exactly at that time to help. It's like, okay, that's a beautiful moment right there, you know. Or for me, if I was to talk about inner beauty, see, there's a beauty of the body, there's a beauty of the mind, and there's a beauty of the soul. To explain the beauty, it's like I'm trying to say, like, yo, man, as a soul, what have I seen that's beautiful? It's strange, but it's the closeness to truth. The most beautiful beings I've seen, their beauty had nothing to do with their physical manifestation. It had to do with what they noticed here. Like the term beautiful eyes. Like, yeah, some person's eyes are purple. Oh my God, that's beautiful, you know? But then there's a type of beauty that it's like, imagine someone, you talk about something and they see a depth of history and future to it. To me, depth is like worth it, to discover the depths of what is going on. It doesn't mean always going to the end of things. But I'm just saying, like, yo, the species should not forget the beautiful. How many people on Earth actually see, like, when they wake up throughout the day, they're like, yeah, man, it's like beauty exists. This is a beautiful place, you know? Now I think the mentality, subconscious overall mentality is like, man, we're in some strange planet and dealing with like a first prototype of civilized savageness, like an updated prototype of like savageness. They're like, back in the day, people killed each other on sight. Now people greet each other on sight. People make fun of introverts, but introverts 100% would survive back in the day, like in the early formations of like civilization. So I do believe that an artist is someone who wakes up in the morning and the value of their life is yet to be, and it's inspired. Like they see a beautiful moment and you just have to be like, I gotta share that, or a photographer. Imagine like a photographer sees something beautiful, but it's objective. They take a picture to come and show everybody. Now me as someone doing what I'm doing, I'm like seeing subjective angles to reality. I'm like, yo man, let me share them. But the artist is fascinated by beauty, and how many people are like, what are the dimensions of value in their life? Like when you wake up, what is valuable? Is it just objects? Is it just subjects? Is it emotions? Is it moments? Is it communication? Is it establishment? Is it getting close to truth? Or is it just finding a manageable simulation to live out your days, ignorant days? So many people, what I'm fascinated about is not what people believe in, but what are they seeing? Because what we see is always beyond explanation. We are seeing, like, human beings know more than they can communicate. And the beauty can change from how you zoom in and out of it too. It's comparative too, because it really, what beauty is a type of value. Humans value certain things. It's like humans speak a language, and if you are the language they speak, like, they treat you well. That's like how you deal with humans. You just gotta understand they've tied themselves down to a specificity of behaviorism, and that's enough for them. Like that's the level of our species, immature AF. An advanced species would first begin to preserve its most valuable resources. Did you know that? An advanced civilization would be like 8 billion people who landed somewhere and they're like, what do we do? Okay, a next level organizational system where the values and foundations of that system are based on honoring the original being, power. Do you know what that means? That means it's like an effect, and the effect can choose to have faith and trust its cause. And there are those effects that believe they are their own cause, and they pretty much realize they're not. We did not cause ourselves to be in this way, but it's fascinating that we can notice it's a game that's being played. For me, like, more than there's like, yo man, what's normal in this culture and what's normal in that culture, rather than playing the cultural game, I'm standing here being like, yo, what is this? Like, is it dress up? Am I dressing up as from this nation, from this culture? What is it? An abstract identification with what I think, a character from this chunk of land would look like or be like? And then I realized, no, the greater game, like the game we're all playing now, I don't have any secret to give you aside from just giving you this, like, novel feeling that, yo, we're all in the same game right now. Friendship is just players, like, coming into contact in the same levels, you know? So we're all playing this game. Countless humans before us have played this game. Einstein had to look at this, you know. Gandhi had to look at this. Everybody had to look at this and be like, okay. And they're given a unique position. For me, it's not like, yo, man, that person's ugly or beautiful. To me, it's like two different positions. And yes, the concept of luck or unluck, it's just about like how did you get crushed by the machine or not? You know? What does that mean? It's timing and positioning. Most games you win by understanding that. Sun Tzu, this Chinese general, he's like, guys, what are you doing? You don't step in the battlefield until you see victory. But that's the challenge. How do I wake up every day seeing victory? Because I cannot fathom it. It is not relatable. How should I say it? It is not relatable. It's like, my limitations are my limitations. But if truth is beyond my limitations, that isn't truth's problem. That's my problem. And what do we identify as? Do I identify as my body right now in front of you, or do I identify as the force that's moving all of this? Or you want me to be both of them and put a name tag and be like, yeah, man, I'm this character in this story. Believe it. And look at reality. Everybody's like, yo, man, I don't know if I can believe in God. It's like, excuse me, how many abstract, meaningless things do you already believe? They're like, the person's like, yo, man, I'm a man of common sense and all of that. But I believe time is real. It's like, whoa. It's like, yo, man, I'm incredibly, educated person. But if you say anything that doesn't relate to the way I've accepted culture and reality and the language I speak, I'm gonna go crazy. I am telling you, it's hilarious. You just have to zoom out of the civilization to notice what it is. Somebody says how to advance in the like twice they've written this, how to advance so fast that you lose sight of what you have been. You're asking. Listen, it's a matter. The answer to your question is not like an answer I give you. It's you noticing something about the context of the question. Okay. The fastest advancement or the greatest advancement, as someone who legit went looking for this, it is not capped at human. There's something greater than us here. There is, it's here, but it's not in a tangible human way that we engage it. It's more like if we stop projecting ourselves, we discover who projected us, what projected us, that you are no ordinary soul, you are no random eyes that have opened in a random room, you were created by the highest authority, you are the original power's extension. Your mind. Your body is the creation. That means if the geniuses of all geniuses created this genius thing and told all creation to bow down to its genius, and one didn't bow to the genius, and then everything else was forgotten, and it all zoomed in on like, yo, this dude who didn't think the human, this entity that didn't think the human is a genius design, is now in some sense like trying to make sure we fail because it failed in the presence of the higher power. It's like a failure making sure if it's experiencing a failed world, everyone should. Those are beings who have become lesser than human. chaos is very close to a beastly nature. And it's not like I'm saying humans should not have an ability to like access their beastly nature. Back in the day you had to for survival, but I'm trying to tell you, if you're in the beastly realms, quickly calm down. Like that's the only way. Calm down and just simplify reality until you can notice the angelic realms. When you notice the angelic realms, you are getting close to noticing divine command in every breath. That means right now you exist to yourself and that's what's real to you. But when you discover the imperfection of yourself, the incompleteness of yourself, you wonder, what now? And that's when you begin establishing a relationship with the possibility that the intelligence that moves how the moment happens way far surpasses the intelligence that thinks it has understood how the moment happens. So pretty much I'm telling you, in trying to climb the staircase of heaven, you reach a point where the self that you are, which was born on earth, it's like it can't pass through. It's not designed for that. When I look at reality, it's designed to grow, and it's like, what the hell? Is everything in nature performing? Like, just think about it, guys. This is gonna blow your mind. The tree, the flower sprouts, is a flower performing, showing itself off, and then dies, and it's no withers and is no longer there. It's like, what the F? Simulations are designed to perform in the presence of something. We have just ignored that something and built a civilization that feels hollow before it can fulfill its destiny. I think there is something important about not forgetting values that we witnessed beyond ourselves. Like, I might get a little bit emotional here because I was born in 1991 and I saw the evolution of childhood change. I saw the information era look at the natural world and be like, humans are mine. Do you understand? The machine realm, its attack on nature was was in some sense to take humans away from naturality, what is natural to us, to the point that we forget the natural. And then if we brand the unnatural as natural, if the future generations make this mistake, it is lost forever. We might have even made that mistake. It might already be too late. But to me, we're not being raised as a human, as an entity. Like, you can't call humans animals. Because an animal is bound to its environment. We are changing we're changing our environment ridiculously. Like, I am in no way behaving like a natural animal. I don't think this is natural. I think being human doesn't, it's like, sure, naturally born, or like organic biological entity, but it doesn't feel natural. Okay, when I see all the animals on this planet are running butt naked in the forest, right, and human beings are wearing suits, smoking cigars, and like making sure skyscrapers are raised on time, it's like you telling me this shit's normal? This is not. Like, anybody who studied nature, like, excuse me, like, this might be rude of me, but whoever studied nature so far, it's foolish to not realize how different we are. You're not in the destiny of a natural world. I cannot say I was raised in a natural world. Somebody could be like, no man, you were natural, you ate natural food, you know, you use natural soap, you know. It's like I'm washing my hand with candles. No, I'm joking. They're like, why are you washing your hands with candles? It's like we were out of soap, man. I don't know. This felt like the right option, you know? What I'm trying to say is the human is not behaving like it's only a natural evolved animal. Excuse me, there's an agency here. You're a conscious agent. People are like, what does that mean? Am I part of some secret organization? I'll be like, yeah, it's called consciousness, yo. You're secretly behind your eyes organizing the meaning of reality. They're like, yo, man, this guy's so organized. He organized his definition of organization. He organizes what organized means. Like there's like that's how organized I am, guys, when I give these talks. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, man, you know. Anyways, guys, the joke's done. I'm gonna keep going. Pretty much, I'm trying to tell you that I am not like, you know, I have written like ridiculous amounts of poetry for some reason, right? But aside from that, it's not like I'm going around the day and being like, oh my God, like in tears of beauty. Like everything's so beautiful that there's like, I'm just blissed out with tears in my eyes, like some like, you know, ascended being or something. No, where I am is strangely inside a mechanism. So existence is like a mechanism because there are things happening that their values are not multidimensional. Like beauty is an extra dimension unlocking in something. Do you know what I mean? Like a beautiful work of art is an artwork that has managed to penetrate the depths of your soul. Like the artist was like, I'm gonna draw something, and when people look at this, they're gonna just stop and wonder about, like, do you know what I mean? It's just fascinating for me. What you should take away from this episode is me being like, yo, man, when you wake up in the morning, what is your value system on life? How does beauty fall into it? How important is beauty for the prevention of civilizational collapse? And are human beings basing their decisions on what feels nice or what is actually like the necessary strategy? Because to me, it's very strange. Before I make before I do anything, imagine like the person before they do anything, like the first thing they do. Imagine you were teleported in a different world, and before the first thing you do in that world, how do I say it? Like, it's a deeper dimension to something. I don't know what I can tell you, like if they're like, yo man, if you had to leave this world and you could see, like you could choose what sort of beauty to look at before you leave, you know? For me, it's the beauty of how everything has happened so far. It's like a part of me as a soul is always grateful that like, okay, I'm not existing right now. You know, it's like I'm getting to see this. But what does this mean? And what does it mean every person that's come into this video game played a level of human and left? And now we're all players in it. And I'm just saying, yo, there's bigger games. There's collective games to play. I read something where it was religious. I'm Muslim, by the way. And what that means is I believe there's a singular system admin beyond manifestation. The truth of reality is not in reality. It's beyond reality. Like I'm from that school of, I guess, original thought, or the school of that origin of thought. But honestly, what it is a part of me doesn't blame anyone, just looks at myself, whatever I am, and is just like, all right, soul, why are you here? And that's where the fascination starts. My whole life being an effort to understand that which cannot be. That's the edge of knowledge for you. You can't see any further. You know, it's like 8 billion different beings being born into the system. Every one of them have a different code, and that ends up being a different ego code for all of them. And it's like, yo, man, there's 8 billion ways to look at life, and in those ways of looking at life, there's beauty and that which is ugly. You know what I mean? We are creatures of not just habit, but we are creatures of preference. You know, it's like wondering, like, in an advanced civilization, would human beings be born and doing repeated acts? Like, imagine a future where if you repeat something, it's a crime. And they're like, that civilization advanced ridiculously. Because they had to find new ways of doing everything they were doing. That is what advancement means. There's a version of you right now that has seen something way more deeper and advanced than the way you're living now. I believe this to be the case for everyone. You could bring like someone and be like, this person's a savage fool. Now, like, are they conscious? Like, anybody who's conscious, who can ride a bicycle or drive and like communicate in some way. Your role in the human species, as all of ours are for now, is in the research and development of it. The greatest thing we can leave for the ancestors is a massive research and development center of humanity. You know? And then kids would go there and they're like, yo man, they're taking the kids to a school trip at the research and development humanity headquarters or something, right? Research and development of humanity headquarters, right? And children go there and they're like, all right, kids, and our teams have done, like countless people have done teams and research throughout history. And all of knowledge has been an effort of research and development, whether for personal desire or for external honor. And sometimes you just do things because it's important for it to happen, because it can happen, even though it may not be, I don't know how to say it, but humans are not just inspired by reward, they are also inspired by entrance, what you enter. I have obviously as a soul entered a realm where communication and tech and nature are like a Venn diagram right now. So guys, you can ask questions if you want information. I'll answer the questions. I mean, why else would I be here? Like, you can ask. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not something I can, like, I'm not teaching you anything. I'm just saying, like, this is how I see it. Like, what do you see? For me, it's strange. It's like, it's a value theory. It's like, what theory of value do I begin my day? You know, and they're like, use culture, use your past experiences. And I'm like, that doesn't help. Those are all things that have been already lived through. It's as if, like, imagine experiences are you stepping into a new space of reality. And before you die, how much did you notice from what was going on, and then you left? Like, there is no smart or stupid person. It's just like, how much did you notice, and then we left this place. So someone in the chat section says following the version is the best one can do, like following your heart. I'm not telling you to follow your higher self, because, see, there's a conflict here. From one angle, you don't know. You're a limited being. So it's like, you're like, okay, what's my protocol as a limited being? To first notice how I'm limited. So we are limited in the sense that We can plan, strategize, but beyond us, there's events happening, and it's just bigger than us. Moments are way bigger than we find it in a moment is like an endless opportunity to see value through form. Like that's the definition. You know, we're all travelers in manifestation. The Persian poets would say so. But to me, it's not just that. It feels like, okay, if I was just to live a life that had value to myself, why was I born in a civilization? Why was I not just born alone? Why did I not just start manifesting in a massive empty room? Why is there others here? Why is there like pre-architecture to manifestation? Isn't that weird? Like that's super weird. They're like, yo, man, how do you know this world is unknown? I'm like, yo, what? Like, who designed this? The design is fascinating. You know, I thought surgeons were psychopaths when I was young, and I'm like, no, they're like, just like you. Some people are fascinated by what's underneath the hood of a car. Like, surgeons are like fascinated by how the human body functions. The greatest acts seem to be done by, it's proportional to your fascination. Anything that fascinates you, you're way more willing to put an effort in. And it's very important to think of value theory, because it's like, imagine I was like, whoever, you know, comes and helps me build an advanced civilization, I'll give you $1 million. Imagine I was a trillionaire. Like at that point I could do that. And imagine, and then people would be like, okay, the value of the moment is making it important, but what value does the moment have? For example, when a businessman looks at a stock price, what value does that moment have? Or when a mother looks at her daughter, what value does that moment have? Is the value monetizable? Is the value, like you can say, yo man, that's how many units of love, I love you. You know, I love you, you know, hecto love units, you know. Let's say the units for love were LUV. They're like, yo, that's a scientific technical term, you know. It's like, yo, man, that's how much love we have. We have love, you know, times, you know, e to the power of like, I don't know. And that's part of the game. You're not here to know everything. It's like you just know some things of it based on your efforts so far. But what pulls me as a human, like this is not even a spiritual thing, just being like, yo man, I'm a human for like, let's say 100 years, and then what do I do? Excuse me, not, and then what do I do? What do I do while I'm being human right now? Because if they're like, yo man, what do you mean you're being human? What were you? I'll be like, if I'm honest, I'm an unknowing. I don't know this. In the Holy Quran, it says the soul is the secret of God. I before that, I was I had a yogic mindset, and I went to various states of like what I felt were samadhi, where the moment's value was not starting from me, it was starting from the mercy of the system admin to show me it. See, how do I say it? It's like there's 3 ways you can function on this earth. There's like 3 levels. Imagine there's like 3 levels, okay? First level, you know truth. That means you know there is truth. You're like, just like an ocean. Like level 1 is like, yeah, I'm not in the ocean right now. I've never seen an ocean, but I know an ocean exists. You know, because I saw a puddle once, and it's possible. You know, and they're like, okay, so that person knows the ocean, knows that there is like, you know, believes in the ocean, doesn't know 100%, but believes in it, has had something that has made it close to like knowing. And then the second level type of human being is in some sense not knowing anymore. It's not knowledge you have, you are living it. It's the practicing soul. You're not spiritual, like, yo man, I'm gonna get something spiritual. No, no, no. It's a way your moment is happening to itself. And for me, specifically, because I am a specific person, level 2 is when it's not like you know that there is a system admin, you are seeing the administration of the system. So you viewers are just like hearing my voice, and you're like, let's say have a sense of who I am, but really what's happening here is that these words are not arising like I've memorized the lecture. They are arising out of the inner sight that I respond to. My podcast is pretty much vocalizing what's happening to my mind in those moments. I'm just trying to say level 2 is when you see the divine. Now, this doesn't mean like, yo, man, do you see like light around people? I'm like, sometimes I do see shadows on people, but that's not the point. Level 2 is a state where the individual self no longer doubts the collective experience, the collective administration management. So do you know what that means? That means if when you wake up in the morning, this is how I would say it's different. Imagine like a butterfly passes in front of you. It's just a butterfly. Then suddenly you meet an old friend. It's just an old friend, And then you suddenly you're passing somewhere and this car was about to hit you, it dodges you. Or suddenly, you were having a bad day and out of nowhere, your favorite person calls you. And then, some people are so simple-minded. They're like, yo, man, that's lucky, that's unlucky. I'll be like, oh, God, concentrate a little. There's something there. There is something where divinity is about maintaining the balance of the experiences destined for a soul. Level 3 is not something that can be explained from here. From here, you can know there is truth, you can see signs of it. One of the experiences I had with the Holy Quran that made me Muslim was I was like, God, give me a sign, and I prayed, and I opened the Holy Quran, and the passage my eyes found exactly said that the signs are all there. You who have sinned and are in ignorance don't see. And I got goosebumps, right? What that means is the truth has been here before we were. And when you really want to know who the advanced human beings are, they're not just somebody talking about advancement. The advanced human beings are those who, deep down in their heart, not only know that there is a system admin, but they have praised it before. That means, this might sound strange, but if somebody says, I shouldn't say before this life, but maybe in Olam al-Arwah, maybe in the world of souls, it's about praising how much you remember the original command of the system admin that is your soul. Your soul is the command of the original point of power that all manifestation moves. You see these trees, you see everything physical in front of your eyes, you see how you have enclosed manifestation in natural law, the laws of nature. Natural law is following divine command, and divine command is an instantaneous manifestation. That means that the answer to the question, did the chicken come first or the egg? The moment where a chicken had laid an egg came into manifestation instantly by a mere command of a being that cannot make mistakes. You see, you're in a world right now that you have to choose. And subconsciously, you've probably chosen one of these already. Either it's empty and you tell the story of ethics, either it's empty or no, there's something here. Something intelligent here. Something's happening here intelligently. How much the species understands it, who knows? They're like, yo, what is the body of the species? 8 billion human beings on the earth. What is the mind of the species? The overall story that holds us all. Like, I have a good sense about the mind, the body and mind of our civilization, our species. But if you tell me matters of the soul, I'm like, it's different than the body and mind. Like, this is how you know you've experienced, like, you've become conscious of your soul. When you notice a value beyond the body and mind. And that's divine movement. That's the divine management. So you may not believe in God until you see a moment that moves with a knowing. Like, people look at the wind move, but have you ever thought, is there a knowing behind that command? That means, am I who I want to be, or am I, like, which one makes more sense? I am what I choose to be, or am I what I have been positioned to be, commanded to be? People are right now wondering if their souls are not. I'm like, yo, what was my soul commanded? And why now? Why am I in 2025, but my mind is in the thousands of years ahead, imagining how life would be? It shocks me. The mind has startled my soul. I'm like, what? I can imagine walking on sky cities. I could imagine, giving a lecture to AI. There are such bigger problems. I don't know, but I think most human beings are probably extracting value out of their day by selecting a problem to solve. And that problem is based on their awareness of reality so far. So it's like the problems you have are how much of life you're aware of. The person's like, I got tons of problems. It's like, okay, your awareness has expanded, obviously. I think something fair to say is we don't know the value of human intelligence. I can't even say that the way we're living as human beings is like the most, like, is this what it means to be a human being? Like, right now, the human beings we are, I can consciously move my hands in the air and speak, but I can't move every cell. Like, I'm not sitting here aware of every cell in my body and what direction it's moving. But an advanced human being in the future might, and maybe that's what we call an actual human being. Because so far, the human being is a sort of like forgotten greatness ordeal. You have to choose whether you want to stand in and wait in an empty room or run towards the ultimate. When I say run towards the ultimate, this means through divine command. More than life is about you coming in here and having an opinion. It's more like you're trying to hear what the world is saying. Now, being oblivious has a value. If somebody says, like, having that scene, like if you're someone who sees the divine throughout the day, like if somebody tells me, is that worth it to become a person that sees the divine throughout the day? At that point, if you are witnessing the divine, you will instantly know that everything you've witnessed so far has become a lesser value. For me, a divine experience, I think this is my top, like, one of the top, or maybe the most divine experience I had, was in 2023, where life had brought me to a moment that I couldn't solve it anymore. I reached a point of not knowing what to do anymore. And for the first time, I called out to the higher power, and I bowed. And I had a knee problem, so I did it on my bed. And I just bowed, and for the first time, I accepted that my ego was a loser. I just accepted. I'm like, okay, whatever program you thought you were has failed you. Now, where do those who have failed themselves go? Success calls from the distance. It howls from the distance. Return to the higher ranks. O fallen souls, return to your ranks. And the only way to truly, this was the hardest thing to come to terms with. The only way you can raise your rank is by realizing the system admin sees your complete soul, and it's at the mercy of the system admin. Like, these guys don't have the heart to tell people. Okay, all the yogis, all the spiritual people, anybody in any spiritual organization right now, this is what they don't have the heart to tell you. That at some point yourself did not matter, because matter did not matter in the sense of what it was in the presence of. I am just a temporary voice here for some time, but the eternal presence of reality, it stands here before I could salute it. To acknowledge the higher power, like people think like, yo man, let's go have religious events and concerts. Excuse me, you don't understand. It is the weight. It is the weight of the presence of the original power to reality. That presence, if anybody who's discovered that, it's as if the greatest thing they could give one was not $1 trillion. It was the system admin acknowledging you. That means, like, let me tell you what that means. There's a story, like I heard this or read this online or somewhere, and I don't know, it's kind of like humorous too, like kind of said as a joke, but it's also a story with a moral. And so anyways, what the story is there was this like church, and beside it in this town, like way back in the day, There was a brothel right beside a church, okay? And the second floor of the brothel, there was a room that matched exactly the elevation of a room of that church. Now, in the church, there was a priest, and this priest every day would go and do holy things and baptize people and do all the priest stuff, and he was not like some demented priest, it was like, normal, like, God-believing priest, but every day at the end of the day, he would go and act like a holy man in front of everyone. He would go to the second floor where his bedroom was right beside this prostitute's bedroom of the brothel next door. That's like the whole point of the story, okay? And so every day he would see this prostitute who wakes up and has the filthiest day as a soul, right? And at the end of the night, she comes in front of the mirror and her hands are in prayer form and she's praying to God to like help her. So this priest, imagine this priest every day, like his bedroom's right beside, like his bedroom window's right beside this prostitute's bedroom window, and every day he's seeing the prostitute pray. So his whole days, years pass by, where he quickly goes and does everything and just comes and sees this prostitute pray in front of the mirror in his bedroom. Okay, long story short, some tragedy happens. They both go up to the curb of her pearly gates. I'm saying this respectfully. And they go up there and, the voice says, "Who are you?" And the priest is like, "I'm an ambassador of God on earth. I have done holy things. I was the head of the church. Like, look at my resume, man. For years, I've been acting like as a holy person and all of this, right?" And then right beside the guy, like let's say there was an earthquake or something, and right beside the guy is the prostitute. And the voice says to the priest, "You cannot enter, but the prostitute is allowed to enter heaven." And then the priest is like, "What? Do you know?" The priest is like, "What? I, as someone who preached the truth and said the truth, why did I not go to heaven?" Right? And the answer, this is the moral of the story, the voice says, "This is your difference between this other soul that got into heaven. This soul, it would go and have the filthiest day, but would remember at the end of that hell that there was a heaven waiting. That there was a heaven at the end of hell." And she would remember the higher value. She would remember that it's the system admin, but the priest was too busy, like it's still attention at the worldly level. That's what I'm saying, okay? It's like there's no secret to advancement. There's a higher power here. It's not an alien extraterrestrial time traveler. It's not like us, from the future. It's not like, some deceptive thing or illusion. There is an original power. All things that move. There's a command underneath the forces of nature. That command is not understandable by humanity because humanity is one of those commands. It's like, how much can a code understand a programmer? At most, the program can understand it's a program. The rest is like still simulated in the program. If you're on Earth and you think you know the divine, it's like inside a simulation, acting real. Right? Relax. I really don't know how what I'm saying is coming across to people. That's the fascinating part of this job. The beautiful is like a pathway to the divine, but beauty in not just body, but beauty in body, mind, and presence. Presence is about attitude, so how your attitude engages the moment can be beautiful or ugly. Someone in the chat section says, what do you think the nature of nowadays orbs, flying orbs? Like, I don't know, man. Flying orbs are either like your mind is telling you something or the world is. I think the opposite. Someone in the chat section, they're like, are they here to remind is with the divine? No, I think it's the opposite. The divine is not something like somebody can tell you. Do you know what it's like? It's like, imagine you are in like this house party, or you're a guest at this house party, okay, or some party, some gathering, okay, and there's someone standing in front of you, or there's someone beside you, like there's a bunch of people there, right, and there's somebody there, and you haven't met this person, and you go up to someone else and you're like, tell me, what kind of person is that person? It's like, it's right there. The only way is you have to come to a moment where you stop caring about flying orbs. You start caring about your presence in front of the presence of the original being. That means this world has a system admin. We specifically, humans, are designed to be able to connect and contact the system admin. I think this is the most advanced form. If they're like, what's the most advanced form of spirituality? I'm like, it's not. I don't think it's like transcendence and like, building sacred geometry vehicles and all that. I think it's designed to be imperfect if your ego tries to win. But I think it's designed to be perfect if you realize the system admin is moving first. Somebody in the chat section says, what if the system admin sent them? That's for your heart to decide. That's for what your heart really knows. And to be honest, I think there is no what if with divinity. Divinity is not you realizing there's like invisible beings in the room. Like, that's not divinity. Like the full of it. Divinity is realizing the authority of power in the world. God is not just an idea, it is an authority. Do you know what that means? That means what is in charge of manifestation is beyond the manifest. This world has a system admin. Now, the system admin, some people think it's a person. Muslims believe that it is beyond form because God is all-powerful. To be all-powerful, there can be an argument that he can make himself human, but there could also be a view that to truly value the all-powerful being, its power is not containable. That means how you can connect shape to God is a strange, I don't know, like there's something there that I feel like the whole point of it was not to worship objects, and then we come to the point where we don't worship subjects, and then we come to a point where it's like it's not logical, analytical thinking anymore. You're in the presence of the living divine. Like in Christianity, they call it Holy Ghost. In Islam, I think they call it Ruh al-Quds. But it's really kind of like you're not just an employee. Your awareness has reached a point where you notice divine management. And there's some, I guess, employees on earth who want to meet the owner of the realm. For me, that's one of the fascinating things. They're like, okay, what do you have to look forward to? I'm like, there's death, but I'm not looking forward to that, but there is death, like it's unavoidable, but there is also meeting the original power. Because it is fascinating that who am I before I think I am just this. That's proper inside a simulation etiquette, by the way. It's like I'm here saying, like, we're inside a simulation, and somebody, like in the chat section, saying, what do you think of flying orbs in the simulation? It's like, buddy, it's all a simulation. Do you notice the presence of the admin? The presence of the admin is not your own presence. It is not, you cannot expect truth from the truth you don't know yet. Do you know what I mean? You cannot have an expectation on truth. This happened to me the moment I realized the self is incomplete. I'm like, whoa, 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 this whole time there's like some people thinking reality is like a noun. It's like, yeah, man, I'm this noun, and you're that noun. And let's just say we're all living here. So we're all living in a verb as nouns. And I'm like, what the like WTF is this nonsense, right? Like what is going on here is way deeper than personality. Personality is just like showing a little bit of what happened internally. I think that the answer to the question, like, is God sending me orbs to see or something? Somebody asked that in the chat section. Listen, it has to do with your state of consciousness. If you are God conscious, of course, how could anything else not be divine command? But if you are not God conscious, then that means that means existence is not the consciousness of God for you yet. Do you understand? It's like we are content, a type of content in the consciousness of the Creator. Because the Creator is conscious of us. When I say divine surveillance state, that's equivalent to the original is watching the simulated. I don't know if they're like giggling and laughing. No, I'm kidding. But I'm saying, like, truth is beyond humanization. That's the point. That's when you're a Muslim. If you believe truth is humanization, then I think that's Christianity. Christianity has seen the human form as divine. Now, I'm sorry, when I say divine, I shouldn't say divine. The human form as God. That's the difference. In Islam, God has no partner. That means it's the only way to make sure nobody worships an idol. Nobody worships some random thing. Truth is beyond form. So the truth for everybody in the box is what's outside of it. So any hypothesis in the box is branded as simulated. So right now we could have the group of the smartest people trying to figure out what's going on this planet, and it's still simulated. When I say, like, hear me out, guys, when I say level 2 is seeing God, right, every day, and then level 3 is living in the presence of God, it's equivalent to, like, yo, when a man gets married to, like, when, does a husband, like, kind of memorize a code of behavior in a book before they, like, live with their wife? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not a sort of robotic worship. Like, worshiping God could be the same way of just valuing its presence here. And for some people, it's more extremer that God is present in the room. That means, is destiny moving first or my free will? Or is my free will actually destiny? You know? I find it beautiful. I find it very beautiful. That existence has decided to do something rather than nothing. It's just fascinating. It's all here. It's fascinating that I'm here right now, you know. Somebody in the chat section says, "What do you think the best way to get to know the system admin?" I met the system admin when I felt truly hopeless and powerless, and reality reached a point where it didn't make sense anymore. Why? Because the mind was an infinite way to look at things, kind of situation. It's like I didn't know how to look at things. Now I wouldn't say I 100% know how to exactly look at things, but now I am not alone in the room. I have come to, instead of establishing a physical to non-physical relationship, which is you see an entity and you think that entity is talking to you, it's more like an invisible relationship with the invisible. My invisible relationship with like the system admin, it's pretty much just like, I don't know, like, you know how you're acknowledging I'm existing, or how I'm acknowledging you're existing, or we both acknowledge like the sun is existing right now? It's the same, but you just acknowledge that there's a system admin, and in every moment of your life you're looking at how the system is behaving. Like if you suddenly have an urge to go help someone, it's like, okay, some divine commands are being input into the natural, you know? So I am telling you, I mean, think of it this way. There's people on this planet, they're like, I want to go and become best friends with dolphins and whales. Like they're willing to contact the dolphin. People are willing to contact like their Uber driver, do you know? But they're not willing to contact the possibility of the original power of reality. That means there are some people who never know God. There's some people who know God after this life, and there are those who, I think this is God's mercy. I think it's the answer is the system. You're at the will, the system admin chooses. And the one thing I can say is it has to do with the purity of your being. This is something very personal to yourself. It's like how your heart feels about yourself, which you cannot hide, and the system admin knows. You cannot hide from part, like a way you're being, you know. You can hide from things you do, but you cannot hide from what you're being. I would say the human is a type of intelligence and technology that is semi-divine managed and semi-human conscious managed. That means it's human consciousness plus a greater agency, and the intelligence of the divine to me, with commands being a clue, is like, how do I say it? The moment happens with a consideration for what's to happen to it. That means it's like, imagine the type of necessity or what the human being thinks is necessary, and imagine before the human necessity there was a divine management necessity. You know? It's kind of like, are we in a controlled environment or an uncontrolled environment? Are we just in a world, or are we within a divine surveillance state? We're within a divine surveillance state. We're inside a simulated testing zone right now. And everything that's simulated in the presence of your awareness is the test. But I think the way you pass the test, or it's another way of me having the boldness to say how I think you get out of the Earth simulation, is by the mercy of the system admin. It's a who you know situation, not a what you know. I think that's how it is. And it's not a matter of like, yo man, I'm gonna be street smart and religious. It's like, no. When you're religious, it means that before you do anything, the commands of the system admin are there. Destiny has beaten me to its explanation. Do you understand? That means every moment I say something, before I could say I was destined to say that, I was destined. Instantaneously by doing that, like if I comb my hair right now, like I'll be like, okay, I'm destined to comb my hair. You know, destiny is like what happens here. So pretty much we open our eyes, we're inside a system, and we're like, what happens here? What happens to us here? You know, how are we happening to ourselves in the presence of what are we happening actually? And why out of all the species on this earth, we have this next level awareness to our environment to the degree that we are noticing. Like, think about it, guys. Every person on the planet, just think about it. Out of all the living, physical, biological species on Earth, all the creatures on Earth, living and physical and biological, which one has the greatest ability to contact the higher power? Only us. Like if God has talked to dolphins in their minds, like it's like, okay, like they brought back phones that fell into the ocean, but do you understand? It's like you're not in a world where you get to choose. You're in a chosen world with chosen moments. You are getting to see them. I sometimes think what my life is all the moments I have consciously participated in. That's what it's been. It's like a film that I don't completely remember, but I just remember like bits of it. You know, like if you ask me right now, yo man, do you remember your whole life? I'll be like not like a film. I can explain the plot line to you, even though I can't try and like I can successfully do it. But it's not. That's not the point. It's incomplete. The mystery of what we're in the presence of is more mysterious than what we think there is. And it's not like just one simulation, by the way. It's not like we're all in one, like sure, we're all in one existential simulation. It's just that to me, it feels like the system admin is watching us and it's not waiting. It doesn't, it's like what the system, like this was a very huge philosophical like debate on this, okay? Like this is a very deep idea I'm getting into because it's about like why did God need to create man if God is perfect? Why does perfection need to create an entity with imperfections to learn from its imperfections? Why? That's like a question, okay? Now the answer was, God doesn't need man. God created man so man can need God and establish a relationship. It's as if like God created a soul, that soul didn't listen, and then God like from that soul like extended like endless souls, and they're like, God's like, all right, the souls that see me, they will come to me. I don't need to go and tell them. Or maybe some souls God had to go and tell them so we could realize God is here. You know, like the prophets and whatnot. But what I'm saying is, God is the ultimate archetype. And people are like, how are you saying that? Because the epitome of archetypes is the imaginable. And God is the having a relationship with an unimaginable value. Your whole day, every day is an imaginable value. Our species is dealing with managing value. Do you know? It's like we're imagining values to think. When two people fall in love with each other, like psychologists don't tell them. They're like, yo man, let them not realize. But in actuality, they're falling in love with their own mind's potential in the presence of that being. What I'm trying to say is that we have to ask the question, do people ever see others for who they are? Like for who the others are, or do they see others for who they are, or through who they are? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about every person you've liked and disliked? What's the contextual value system to that? Like, what's the value to that? What is the value even of me existing right now and giving this talk? For me, life found an excitement. Just a second, guys. I'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just something took my attention. I had to deal with it. So I guess I gotta restart it here. Somebody in the chat section says, do you think religion, if taken seriously, can lead one to everything that they want? I think religion is another way of saying, yo, you were not born in your world, you were born in someone else's world. This someone else is not a person, it is a power. Okay? It's a power and it's a presence. So it's like saying, like, religion is like, hey guys, you're not alone on earth. Your creator, the causal intelligence that brought you here, is also knows that you're here. Being religious is like knowing that God sees you. That means you are not hidden from the divine surveillance state. Do you know what that means? That means I think the wise people are polite to the core. Somebody in the chat section says, what is the nature of this power? The nature of this power, that is, because it is beyond you, it's the admin, it is its choice. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You're asking me, yo, created entity, what is the value of the power of the creator? I'm like, yo man, we're a bunch of simulated beings here for a little while, given this consciousness to notice things before we die. I think the most important thing to notice is the one that started this. We've been called into attendance. It's like, even though it's an exam hall, it's simultaneously an attendance call of souls, you know, that have arrived in God's creation as God's superior creation. Because man is different. You see, evolution explains it from the bottom up. Religion explains it from the up to the bottom, and then your whole life's about going back up. Religious people are not, this is not a place where we've been rewarded, we've been tested here. This is why in the Holy Quran it says that life is like it's delusional enjoyment, worldly desire. And I'm like, okay, that's a fair point. If it's a simulation, that desiring what's in the simulation is like hollow. You're like, yeah, man, I got like, you know, trucks filled with cash, okay? But it's the end of my life, and what was the point? It's like, yo, relax, man. The point of it is that the value of it is not actually physical. The value of it is its function. When you try to advance civilization, it's not like a specific, It's you think about the function of 8 billion souls in the presence of the system. So for me, there will come a time in the future where all religious people will stop fighting over religion, because they'll be like, guys, the whole point of it is that there's a higher intelligence in the room. And it's beyond us, and what sort of way do we establish a relationship to it? Do we, like a blind robot, just call out to it? Or do we feel we're in the presence, you're in the same room as God? All of you are in the same room as your creator, as the created. So right now, it's not just me hearing these words, it's not just you hearing these words, it's the system admin knowing our souls before we were commanded to manifest, before we were commanded to be born. In Islam, before you were born here, again, they don't see past lives in the way of like yogis or whatever. They see it in the sense of, it was a place called Alam al-Arwah, the world of souls, and souls had a ranking system. So it was kind of like a little bit militaristic vibe, okay, in regards to ranks. And souls of the same rank knew each other and acknowledged each other. Families are like souls of similar ranks, do you know? And so the point of it is, if it was, not if it was, in the realm of Alam al-Arwah, a bunch of souls waiting with ranks. Now, what kind of beings have ranks? Officers. Our souls were like stationed officers. And being born in this world is like your rank was called. I'm sure there is higher rankers, higher ranked souls that have been on this planet and will be, and there is lower ranker souls, lower ranked souls. Just like a video game that has a ranking system, right? I recently hit like plat on League, kind of like became a Smurf finally. I'm like a next level Z-Wrath mid laner, you know. But anyways, this is irrelevant to talk. What I'm trying to tell you is that to respond to the fascinating overwhelmment of how much of the world is more unknown than known, and how does this all move, and how does the known know how to move, and what is moving movement in the moment, right? That means it's like what is allowing, and it's like moments have authorization. I'm telling you, you could, as your ego could try to do something to someone in a moment, and the moment has an authorization and a protocol. Do you know? That means you could, like, there's been times where in my lectures I was in front of people and I came to say something, I could see it behind my eyes, but when I came to say it, I couldn't, and it was like I was not authorized to say that at that time. Do you know? Like, that's like someone who has, when they've noticed how their mind moves, they realized more about the nature of divine command. Like, I'm living my life wondering about why was I commanded here? And what is my role? And how much of it is external and internal? I have lived, strange to say, but I guess in regards to the exposure of different realities, a sort of fulfilling life behind my eyes. That means if after at the end of this life, they're like, yo man, why did you do wrong things, you know? Or why did you make a mistake? And I'll be like, in which life did I make a mistake? Like the afterlife of my inner self or my outer self? Or like, which one are we talking about? Right, is my soul being judged? Is my body being judged? Is my mind being judged? What's being judged here exactly? And they're gonna be like, the soul exactly knows, and I'll be like, yeah. So if that's the case, then the question was unnecessary. So what I'm trying to say is that there is no excuse. That's the point. You're going to a place, potentially, that there is no excuses. So you had to revalue the moment as being important in outcome, as if your actions are seeds that you're planting, and what kind of garden are you creating for yourself in the future, really. Somebody's like, life's about love. A test to see if we can truly love ourselves, the source and all that is, yeah. I don't disagree with that. I think love is very important. Love is like true connection. The people you love, your soul's like, your soul can be peaceful around. Think of it this way. And it's important to love God, but I think honesty is important. And the reason they said honesty is because you have to not live in the mind. Like, see, like it's like someone who hasn't climbed Mount Everest, and then you talk to them, they're like, I've already climbed Mount Everest, man. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna climb Mount Everest. And they're like, yo, this guy's affirming affirming himself next level, nice. But then, what really authorizes that? I'm trying to say the limits of human will. Somebody says if God is unconditional love, there's no sinner. Who says? Why does that deny? Why does that make there be no sinner? We are not God. I don't, anybody who believes they're God, like this, that's like, I think that's like if there was an anti-human force and it was like, yo man, I don't want human beings to figure out like God is here. Like it would have to be like, yo man, before believing in God, what if you are God? And you'll be like, yeah, what if I am God right now? And then you're lost. Evil became a smooth criminal there. You see, what God is different than you. And I'm not saying God is not all merciful. Of course, I'm not saying like the sinners are lost. No way I'm saying that. Oh my God, like don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm just saying God is an unconditional being. An unconditional being is not limited to our condition. That means no human mind can define God's relationship with creation. You understand? As a religious person, it's like God is in the room and you have respect for that presence. Respect means you do not touch it by subjectivity. It's another way of saying act like you're acting in the presence of the original. I'm like right now, I honestly feel like a simulated being, and there's something original here as a soul moving right now in this moment. And I guess what the artist sees is that the unknown brings the inspiration. You cannot process reality because you're not a machine. You know, that's the thing. Ultimately, we just process it somewhat, and then we feel, we're like, how do I feel? So what it is like, first you access facts. What are the facts of the situation? Okay, unknown self in an unknown world, storytelling itself into some sort of knowledge system. Somebody says, do you feel it all the time? That's a very good question. These are good questions. But I'll say like, the way I feel the system admin, I feel the system admin sees me all the time, yes. I feel I don't have privacy anymore. As a religious person, my soul doesn't have privacy. That means I cannot hide what I am in the presence of God. And because God is the presence, we are in the presence of God. You see, as a Muslim, there's a beauty to divinity in the sense that all manifestation praises its creator. As a Muslim, it's like even atoms are praising God's greatness. The beauty of it is the majesty of the unfathomable power that fathomed it all. To be honest, being religious has felt like I am in the presence of royalty, but beyond royalty. Like the most royal thing they said is being close to God. Those are the royal souls among you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like those who notice God and they have a role, that God, like, how do I say it? They're conscious of the system admin in this existential simulated system. I would say well done. And do not forget the original power. This is all theologians, I think, can agree to this in monotheistic tradition at least. That God created man, commanded man into existence, commanded man to say all the, to know and all the divine names. That means gave man a mind that can notice the universe. And put this creation in in front of everything it has created and commanded existence to bow to its new creation. So we are that creation of God that performed in front of all manifestation. That means God commanded us in front of everybody in heaven, every awareness in heaven, okay? And we came into existence and God commanded us to know the divine names. Do you know what that means? That means your soul knows the secrets of the universe. It was commanded to perform. Do you understand? And we perform in front of all manifestation. All manifestation bows except a moderator. Now, why the whole thing zooms in on that, I don't know, but it is 100% a clue that we were commanded to say the divine names. Now, when you go look at like a God-conscious Muslim, okay? Now, this is just an opinion. I don't mean any disrespect. This is just one person's opinion. It's like those, I think they're called muttaqin, okay? Those who, they don't believe in God. They see God. But they don't see God. They see God's commands everywhere. These are souls where most likely it's your old school grandfather or grandmother. You can notice their antennas are still alerted to it. Okay, now they might in the future make you forget about love and make you forget that you can connect to the origin. They can see the moderator, the anti-human force, is trying to make us believe that the simulation originated us. That's like the most ingenious, diabolical thing. Sometimes it's not good, but I put myself in the mind of like, sometimes they're like, if you want to build something strong, you gotta like visualize how it can be destroyed. I'm trying to tell you, like, if there was some agent, okay, or some moderator that wanted to make sure human beings never noticed God here, it would have to make anything else more important. That's it. You understand? And this is like the addict's struggle. For those people who are addicts, by the way, I think addiction is a sign of someone who doesn't like themselves. This has come to be true for me. If you're anyone with addictions or something, it's because a part of you doesn't like you. You know? And that's okay, but at the same time, is there more advanced ways? Like, that's the game I play. I call it the advancement principle. I'm like, anytime I'm bored, okay, look at what's going on in the moment and ask yourself, is there more advanced way it can happen? All right, I can relax. It's like anytime I don't notice a more advanced probability of something, I kind of get paranoid. You know, and there has been times where my inner realms have been silenced by the divine, but that's a different story. There's been moments where it has been confirmed for me the divine is here and my whole body has shook. And for a moment, I just had to come to terms with, okay, the system admin is here, 100%. It's here. Now, what is the relationship of the human species with the system admin and its own manifest future? Why has the system admin given free will at the same time destined everything? What are we being tested on? How much our simulation of reality is close to the simulation of the system admin? What I mean by that is God is like a superior awareness. When God, when one of God's names, oh sorry, I didn't ever finish this. A Muslim is trying to, in the Holy Quran, it says that man is a Khalifa, and Khalifa, I don't know how to say it. It's like an ambassador of the divine. That means you're not the system admin, but you are a creation of the system admin that has system admin privileges. And these system admin privileges is out of all the souls in this, like on planet Earth, you have a direct relationship, a welcomed, open relationship with the system admin. That means if you choose to, you have access to it. Like if like you tell me lesser entities, like if jinn choose to have a relationship with the system admin, I don't know. I don't know the authorizations and different, like what protocols are authorized for different systems, okay? But I know that we as human beings have access to us, like there is a system admin here, there's divine management. Moderators are not just, it's not just the fallen one, Shaitan, it is the rejected one or the cursed one, but it is more like the blessed ones are also moderators, which is another way of saying angels. That means angels are designed to not be capable of rejecting divine will. We have been designed, like we're kind of between the beastly hell and the angelic heaven, you know? we're like we can be savages right now and build a system that way, or we can be graceful, you know? Because to get close to divinity means to notice grace. To notice grace, you must notice its possibility within you. And you have to also, I think, accept who you, like what you're, who you are is what you find in the moment is you. It could be as simple as, like, think of it before you sleep. You just for a moment be like, all right, if there's a system admin in this world, thanks for like maintaining the system so far in this way, and I'd appreciate it if you could make it better. Thanks, system admin. Good night. And you imagine like if that was real for you, because you see, it's so strange. You're not here to believe in God. Excuse me. You're not here to believe you are God. You are here to pray, which is to communicate to God. Your whole existence is a communication to the system admin. When people do evil things, they are acting like their will is more important than the overall system's will. And love is very important. And it's something that I think is also the mercy of the system admin. I was saying earlier, something all the enlightened people here on earth can't tell you is that you reach a point where the system admin chooses what happens. It's not human choice anymore. And you don't have a problem with it because you've noticed that how what's moving behind the scenes is moving in ways that it has a superior awareness to me, or at least to whoever you are. That means I've seen ways, moments beyond this planet that they were superior than just human. It's not just human here. I'm telling you. It's beyond human. It's like power. That means what is man's psychological relationship with an unimaginable being? It's its relationship with the potential of power, technically. Somebody says, do you mean you're claiming that the system admin is well known and understood through Islam? No, I never said that. I'm saying, what I'm saying is that there are levels to it. And there's, if you were curious, actually, there's terms for it. There's a difference between someone who follows God out of fear and someone who follows God out of love. Have you thought about that? There's a difference. Those who do or expresses the correct moments on this earth, you're doing it because it's like, are you afraid of your wife when your wife tells you to take out the trash? Or do you do it because you love her and the possible potential of the moment? Do you see the difference? So no, nobody has the same eyes to be this, to have the same awareness of the system, admin. It's intentionally designed that we are not clones. They even found out like a person's tongue, like their fingerprints is unique. You know what I mean? Like even our fingerprints just showing us that we are different. We're not in a world of clones, and people were like, God, why didn't God create perfect beings from the beginning? Why did God not create like a being that rejected its value? And I was like, that's the point. We think that the cosmos owes us a human cultural explanation. It's beyond, folks. The Holy Quran, it says that it's a book for those who believe in the unseen. Now the unseen has not been seen. I am claiming that everybody is in the presence of the system admin, but to notice the system admin, you have to stop having your attention on yourself. And then you begin to see what yourself is the divine is more like a perfect process, and that which isn't divine is like an imperfect noun. Divinity is like the perfect verb. Okay, I don't know how else to say it. And the first answer, the primordial answer, is that when it comes to matters of the divine, God knows first. Then man has his opinions to like lead him. But God is the presence. It's like they're not saying believe in an ideology and get lost, you know? They are telling you the system admin is in the room. And it's not a feeling of fear. It's like, whoa, you're telling me I don't have just Wi-Fi connection. I have connection with the original consciousness, the original creator of the earth. It's like we're inside a novel, and the characters in the novel have suddenly noticed who the author is, and they're like, obviously the author is not limited to the novel. At most, we can see its pen writing us throughout the day, but beyond that, the author is unfathomable. Ultimately, free will is a simulation in the presence of divine will. And it's like, if they say, if in the afterlife review, they're like, why did you sin? And I was like, why was I created that way to even be able to do that? And the answer is not like you be like, oh my God, I made a mistake or something. I think the answer is, if in the afterlife, they're like, why did you sin? I will be like, it was all in the presence of the system admin. Why was the sin created? Why was the sin occur? Why did the sin occur? It's like shifting from life being a story you tell yourself about this place to being in the presence of power that is not limited to the imaginative, uh, dwellings. Like the human soul is in the presence of higher command. People talk about the higher self, but what if your higher self was the realization that you are a command in the moment? Anyways, guys, I've been on this balcony for 2 hours. I think, like, actually, I'm colder than I feel. Um, anyways, I wanted to say that to the artists on this planet, a round of applause. They may never hear it, but we all know that there are those who wake up and beauty is not gone. Divinity is not gone. The majesty of possibility is not gone. The greatness of advancement of intelligence is not gone. It is not an empty room. It is honestly the place where the greatest performance is meant to occur. That means you may not think you're a performer, but what is the soul doing in existence? Thank you for listening. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful.